Welcome to Bhutan This Week. I am Mishi Gelson. Our top stories this week: His Majesty the King grants citizenship Kidu to 137 individuals. The government to propose for an additional sitting of the Parliament. And fuel and maintenance allowance for Geog utility vehicles increased. His Majesty the King granted citizenship Kidu to 137 individuals at the Kunre of the Tashi-Chezong. The recipients took an oath of allegiance to the Tsawasum after receiving Bhutanese citizenship.
With today's 137 recipients, the total number of citizenship Kidu granted by His Majesty the King is over 9,000.
I have already served 30 years in the government, and I would like to serve further to the Tsawasum with much of my sincerity, honesty, dedication and devotion to the people.
I am very happy to receive citizenship. I would like to thank His Majesty the King and will serve the Tsawasum.
I'm very happy, and today is a very important day in my life. Till now, even after completing studies, it was difficult to get job without citizenship identity card. Today, I'm very happy to receive the citizenship Kidu from His Majesty the King.
From now on, I will serve the government with full dedication. I have been serving the government for 34 years, and next year I will superannuate. Still then, I'll serve the government with sincerity.
His Majesty the King personally grants audience to every recipient of the citizenship Kidu. The ceremony was attended by the Prime Minister, Home Minister, as well as officials from the Ministry of Home and Cultural Affairs and the Judiciary. Sharab Dorji for BBS News.
At the recent Meet the Press, Prime Minister Tasho Tshering said the government did not breach the constitution on fiscal incentives policy and that the Druk Nyamru Tsokba is desperate for media attention. The DNT had issued a news release asking the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister to step down for violating the constitution by imposing the policy without endorsing it in the parliament. The party also labelled Tasho Tshering as a double-standard politician. The government will propose for an additional sitting of the parliament in May or June next year. Prime Minister Tasho Tshering said the 11th session is to pass the budget for the first fiscal year of the 12th five-year plan.
At the recent Meet the Press, Tasho Tshering said while it is up to the next government to implement or change the plan, the budget for that fiscal year of the plan would not be passed without a parliament proceeding.
We want to ensure that the next government, whoever it may be, will have a good plan to consider, because they will adopt it, right? But at least they'll have a good plan to consider, and they will have resources that have already been mobilized. And although that they will take over only in about October or November, they can actually hit the ground running. They don't have to worry about the plan. They don't have to worry about the resources. So it is our responsibility to pass the budget for 2018-19.
Regarding the current five-year plan, the Prime Minister said the government was formed towards the end of July when the plan should have been finalized.
That even for the 11th plan, the government was formed towards the end of July. By then, the 11th plan was supposed to be in effect, yet hadn't been finalized. In fact, resources hadn't been mobilized. We had to mobilize resources. I went to India, the biggest donor, in September. So July, August, September, 3 months. And then only we received commitment, and resources were made available only in March 2014. So there was a delay. We had to finalize the 11th plan, we had to raise resources, and we started late. So there was
He, however, added that it is up to the members of the parliament and the speaker to consider the additional session. As per the constitution, where the budget has not been approved by the National Assembly before the beginning of the fiscal year, the preceding budget on current expenses shall be applied until the new one is sanctioned. Revenues shall be collected and disbursements made in accordance with the law in force at the end of the preceding year. However, if one or more parts of the new budget have been approved, they shall be put into effect. Present government will dissolve in August next year. This is Pasa, BBS News.
Most students in Thimphu have come forward to take up the city bus service to and from schools. It is good news on one hand, as it means lesser number of parents driving to schools to drop their children. On the other hand, it means demand for more buses for the route. And going by what the service provider has to say, there aren't enough buses to spare.
From 450 students today, the number of students expressing interest to availing themselves of the city bus service has increased to over 1,000. The Thimphu Thomde and Bhutan Post started the service on a pilot basis for Yangchefu Higher Secondary School and Lunzen Zampa Middle Secondary School last month.
I do think it is very helpful since the students can reach to school in time, and also there is not much traffic like before, as many parents are sending their sending their children by bus.
The rates charged for the service is reasonable. I come from Luntefu and it is difficult to get a taxi to school sometimes. Also, it is expensive even if we get one.
Currently, there are 14 buses catering to the students. But to meet the increasing demand, at least 20 more buses are required. The Bhutan Post has also been receiving proposals for such a service from other schools in the capital.
When there are more demand, we have not been able to fulfill this, mainly because of the limited number of city buses that we have currently. And now in future, because of such demand, such overwhelming demand that we have seen from the students and teachers all across in Thimphu, especially after the introduction of the city bus school service in these two schools, now we had proposed to the government, especially in the 12th five-year plan, for some additional buses.
Meanwhile, the Thomde office says the initiative is serving its intended purpose of easing the traffic congestion at Lunzen Zampa. The service also contributes towards reducing pollution and ensuring safety of the students. The Thomde office, on its part, has also requested the government and other donors for more buses.
So the only solution to congestion is let's make public transport better with many more buses, so that it's not only Lunde Samba and Yangchenfu. We want to also cater to other schools so that number of cars on the road is reduced, and we want people to enjoy bus rides more than private cars.
For now, while the supply of buses for the service remains limited and students manage with whatever provided, it is evident from the experience that an efficient public transport system is the most effective solution to addressing traffic congestion. And so, it does call for more investment in the area from the relevant authorities. With camera person Tilinurbo, Kiledem for BBS News.
Most people of Chugu village under Norgegang Geok in Samsi live in temporary huts with their children studying in Sherab Gatsal Lower Secondary School. The school provides boarding facilities, but parents prefer to live close to their children as the village is located far away from the school.
It takes over 6 hours on foot to reach Chugu village from the school when the weather is favorable, and takes even a day when it rains. The village also lacks proper communication facility. These situations have forced parents to build temporary huts in and around the school to live with their school-going children. They have leased land to build the huts. There are about 20 temporary huts near the school.
I stay here with my grandchildren as they complain about being bullied by grown-up boys as they are small right now. And also, even if I stay back in the village, I cannot work now. And when my children get into some mischievous acts, teachers call us here in the school, and which takes a day to reach here, and another day to get back. So I feel it's better to be around here to look after my children.
I'm here because my children often fall sick, and since they are small, they are having difficulty in washing their clothes as well as taking bath. So I stay here helping them with the washing and cooking.
Some parents live with their children in huts until they complete class 8. The students are then placed in another school 2 hours walk from their village. Some parents said a school in their village would have eased their lives. For Damchazam in Samte, Samten Dolgar for PBS News.
The government has increased the fuel and maintenance allowance for Geog utility vehicles. Geog officers will now receive 107,000 miltram in a year. Initially, the government had decided on 60,000 miltram as the annual allowances for such vehicles. Geog officials say that the utility vehicles provided to them in January have been useful for both officials and locals. But some of them shared that the only concern now was that the annual allowances for fuel and maintenance of the boleros would not be enough. The Geog officers would get 60,000 miltram every year for fuel and maintenance purposes, which would be given in 2 halves over the year. Some GUPs, however, said that the amount is not enough.
When we have to travel far or when the roads are rough, the boleros are very helpful, and it has also been very helpful to our people. But for fuel and maintaining of vehicles, 30,000 miltram is not enough. 30,000 is for half the year and it's 60,000 for a year. But this is not enough. For 1 year, 60,000 miltram for fuel and maintenance of the vehicle is not enough. This has been the only concern we have been having.
The allowance has now been increased to almost double the previous amount. The finance minister shared this during the Meet the Press session.
We have now enhanced to 1,07,000, which we have actually announced in during the presentation, and now the budget has been approved by the Parliament. So this is now equivalent to the fuel and maintenance of a Hilux or the imported vehicle.
He explained that the 60,000 miltram was actually the budget for pool vehicles imported from India. But following requests from the Geogs and also realizing the utilization of the vehicles, the finance minister shared that it was discussed during the recent budget discussion and then put up to the Parliament for approval. Yisha Gelson, BBS News. If comments made by the justices at the workshop on interface between judiciary and media is anything to go by, then naming and showing pictures of suspects in the media is unconstitutional. The 2-day program was conducted earlier this week.
Justices explained it is unconstitutional to publish the names and pictures of suspects if the case is still under investigation.
Going by the rights enshrined in the Constitution as well as in other legislation, I would directly say that media houses will not have a right to name and shame for the suspect. Why? For the reason we have to complete the due process of law. A particular person who is a suspect, but towards the end of the completion of the due process of law through the court, he or she may not be guilty.
After the Royal Bhutan Police asked media houses to publish pictures and names of suspects, there has been a mixed reaction from the media houses. While some refused to comply with the act, there were others publishing both the name and picture of the suspect. Some journalists felt it is unethical on the part of the media houses to do so unless the suspect is accused of being a threat to the national security. Journalists expressed concerns over their negative image that the suspect and his relatives can be portrayed as before the suspect is proven guilty by the law.
It's not just that single person who is affected, it's the family members and so ngachi nalu Bhutan herd mentality so just because the BBS nalu animidi pa okay this person is suspected of like raping someone, a minor or someone. Maybe whether that person has really committed a crime or not, only court can decide him. But so that person deserves this benefit of doubt. And that person is innocent until proven guilty. And who proves that person guilty? It's only the court of law. It's not the media.
On the other hand, some journalists who did not want to come on camera said it is of no offense as long as the facts are established while publishing the story. Waiting for the court judgment would mean the media houses will have to wait for long to run the story. During the workshop, the journalists and lawyers also discussed the misconceptions regarding contempt of court and code of ethics for journalists, among others. Pup Game for BBS News.
In olden days, most people traveled to neighboring Indian states for trade. The tradition discontinued gradually due to rapid socio-economic development in the country. But people of Kalaso of Chekolinggeok in Pema Gachal still travel to Subankhata, a local market in Assam in India, for business.
Kalaso is one of the remote villages of Chekolinggeok in Pema Gachal. But unlike farmers in other parts of the country, they still depend on a local Indian market in Assam to do business. Farmers carry farm produce like ginger and other vegetables to be sold in the market. They traveled at least once in a month to sell their farm produce and shop essential items. Farmers need to cross this river 7 times to get to the border area. During summer, Solon River and wild elephants pose risk to the lives of the farmers. It takes 4 hours to reach the border area. From there, they hire Indian taxis to travel to a local market area in Assam called Shobankata. In the past, people from Pema Gachal used to shop essential items from this market.
When we bring goods here at Shobankata, Assam, we get Indian currency which we don't get if we take it to other places. If we need IC, then we have to travel to Nganglam Bank, which is far away. That's why we come here to sell our farm products.
We have been doing business in Shobankata for a very long time now. In between, we stopped for 12 years due to some problem. Now we have resumed the business since it is very easy to travel here.
The only problem is that we don't have much to sell. But it is better to come here since it is near. If we have to go to Nganglam and Samrup Jonkar, it is far and expensive. Things are cheaper here and is easier to transport to our village.
People of Khalatso have maintained close ties with the locals through the trade. So once they reach the market, local friends help the farmers in selling their products.
I have my own car, and when they bring orange and ginger to sell here, I go there to pick them and drop them back till Soke. Some of them don't know how to speak Assamese language, and they cannot tell the price also. So we act as a middleman between them and the buyers. We have known each other since our childhood days. They used to come here during our grandparents' time. We have even gone to their village. So Drukpas come here and they stay in our house peacefully. Even these days, they come here for shopping and we feel happy when they come here.
After selling their farm produce, farmers spend some time to shop and catch up with old friends before they return to their village. The younger ones return to their village on the same day, while the elders stay a night with their local friends. Farmers are now looking forward to a farm road connection which will shorten the distance between the two places. For Tile Doji from Pema Gachal, this is Pasang Doji for BBS News.
WeChat, a popular Chinese mobile messaging app, is widely used by the Bhutanese, both young and old. But of late, users have raised concerns over how private and secure the app is. Many claim their accounts have been hacked.
Namgye Tenzin is among the thousands of Bhutanese who use WeChat to communicate with their families and friends. He learned his WeChat account was hacked. That was about a week ago. It was his brother who called to inform him that something was not quite right with his WeChat account.
He said there was the profile picture was of a woman and everything was in Chinese. And then he was getting a lot of messages from it, and all the messages are obscene videos and pictures of it, and a lot of messages in Chinese. So that's when I came to know about it.
To make others aware about the privacy issues in WeChat, Namgye shared a post on it on the Bhutanese Forum, which is a Facebook page used by many in the country to discuss issues on public interest.
Amazingly, I found out that it was not just me. A lot of people and a lot of their WeChat IDs has been hacked.
The Bhutan Computer Incident Response Team of the Ministry of Information and Communication agrees WeChat is less secure. This is because the app lacks end-to-end encryption, a feature that ensures that only the communicating users can view the messages.
Because it's hosted in China and they have a totally different set of cyber law that governs. So we don't have much control over it. Unlike others, where we can talk directly with the app owners.
He added there are several measures that users can take to protect their accounts against hackers.
Firstly, it's your weak passwords that can give in to such attacks. And secondly, outdated softwares that you use on your phones. So the advice always is to keep your whatever software that you use updated and don't use pirated softwares.
Pema Dendup urged users to lodge complaints either with the ministry or the police if their accounts are hacked. Samtan Dolkar for BBS News.
Farmers of Samrang Gyeok in Samrup Jonkar have started growing mango to generate income. Due to its suitable climate, the Agriculture Ministry supplied mango saplings to turn the village into a mango hub.
By identifying Samrang as a mango village, agriculture officials hope to produce large quantity of mango in the future. About 10 households came forward to support the initiative in 2014. The agriculture sector distributed about 300 mango saplings to kickstart the initiative back then.
With help from Research Development Center based in Wenkar, Mongar, the Dzongkhag agriculture sector decided to turn Samrang Gyeok to a mango village. Samrang has suitable climate and topography to grow mango. The aim is to enable farmers to earn income. If every household can grow mango in a half or 1 acre of land, it will be easier for marketing and transportation.
To support the initiative, the Gyeok administration distributed about 1,000 mango saplings to all 30 households in the Gyeok this year. Farmers are expecting a good profit once the trees start producing fruit.
We have planted mangoes and it has been 3 years now. If it grows well, we are planning to set up a small factory to produce mango juice and supply from here. I think we can earn a good income from mango if we look at mango price in India right now.
We are expecting to earn income from mango. The government has decided to turn Samrang into a mango village by providing us with saplings. So we are trying it by planting the sapling. Some trees have started fruiting and we planted more this year. Everyone in the Gyeok has planted mango.
Farmers were trained and are given technical guidance on how to take care of the fruit trees. A mango sapling will take about 5 years to fruit. For Kilowangchu in Samrup Jonkar, this is Pasang Doji for BBS News.
That's all for this week. Thank you for joining us.